All right, let's move on to Child's Play 2. Now, I sat down and for a good minute or two, not very long, obviously, and I tried to think of a way that I could bring Chucky back. Because I was sitting there thinking about like the company or the people who decided we want a sequel. Like, and being like, make that happen. And me sitting down and trying to be like, all right, so, And as I said, I only thought about it for a minute. I'm sure if I sat down for a while, I could come up with a okay reason. I mean, it's really not a great reason to bring him back here and stick to the original. I'm glad they didn't outright ignore the original though, and he's just back. Like that would have irritated the shit out of me. So I like that we got an explanation at all. I just think that the explanation we got is pretty damn silly for a number of reasons. I know that their in-universe reason is that they're getting bad publicity and they want to show that they're going to get the doll back. I don't know why they need to remake the doll. Like, they could have just checked its circuitry and all that stuff and seen if somebody messed with the voice box, like the one dude said, But remaking it, because the only thing that's really left of Chucky for them to remake from is the skull, which I'm not sure why it's metal. I don't think a child's doll would have a metal skull, A. And B, wasn't he turning human? Shouldn't it be bone? So that doesn't really make any sense. I like how they said they went through the thing and everything seemed to be normal. Like, that's how that's how good guys' dolls were. That they didn't seem to find anything. The internal organs, when they shot out his heart and everything, you didn't find any of that? The blood all of inside of it? Let's see. The first good guy dolls in the first movie have no teeth. Their mouth is completely enclosed. But this one, they're opening up its mouth and scraping off its teeth and making sure. How all of a sudden does a good guy doll have teeth and a tongue and everything? They checked this thing thoroughly. Have they ever seen an actual good guy doll? Because they don't have a mouth. They don't have teeth. They don't have a tongue. You can see when they open the mouth. It has a full-on mouth with the tongue inside. Oh my God. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I really enjoy this movie. I know that starting this off like this, it makes it sound like I don't. I do, but oh my good God. Anyway, all right. So I'll tell you this: his foster parents in this, well, mostly the mom more than anything, but are saints or idiots, or both. There's no way. There's no way I would take them. They're sitting down with the chick who runs the orphanage, and she's telling them the story of like, well, after the murders, he convinced himself that the doll was possessed by, a killer called Charles Lee Ray, blah, blah, blah. And I'd just be like, no, no, sorry, cute kid, but no, I'm good. So, man, wow. And then when they're driving him home and they almost get killed by a freaking good guy doll's truck. Jesus, I can't talk, can I? And Andy just looks out the window and Chucky's just, well, a good guy doll is just like smiling at him. It's like no matter where he goes, this damn thing's following him. And then he pulls down the skateboard in his house and another good guy doll falls on him. And then later you see a girl with a good guy's doll shirt on, and like, it's so popular that he could not escape this thing. I mean, that's really something to think about in this film, is the popular, the popularity of the doll at that time. It would be so ingrained into pop culture and all of the kids around him that it would be impossible to avoid a doll that looks exactly like the one that attacked him. There would be no, getting away from this damn thing. He goes into class and there's one in there. Like, it's Chucky, but when she finds it, she's not even miffed by it. It's like, I see like 100 of these a day. Like, there's nothing to get away from it. So, I don't know. I think they play on that decently here, but I feel like they could have played on it just a little bit more, because Andy's mental state is what they should have been focusing on. Although you're talking about a very young child's acting here, so I guess you don't want to push him to the limits too much, but yeah. We get introduced to Kyle, which I just love Kyle. Oh man, I just love that chick. I think she is such a great addition to this franchise. It's a shame that she was only in this one. I mean, we get her in the after credit scene of Cult of Chucky, so hinting that she'll be in the next installment, hopefully. But I just adore Kyle. I'll get a little more into that later. And why would these people have such fragile stuff in a foster home? Like, really? You're housing all these kids, and some of them are probably delinquents and, are older. She's taking Kyle, who's like 17 years old, and a lot of those kids are messed up, man. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, Kyle in this movie is talking about how she's never been at a place longer than a month. And she's been in foster care since she was 3 years old, and she's 17. She's 14 years. She's never been in a home longer than a month. That poor, poor girl. The fact that she's so sweet is crazy to me. Like, yes, it's a written character, but still, I mean, we're talking about this character here. The fact that she still cares. I mean, she could have left Andy at any point in this movie, and she didn't. Like, she went after him. She didn't have to. She bonds with him. That's that scene on the swing, and that scene where, she gives him the cigarette stupidly. I mean, she's a kid, so it doesn't really. But, like, I don't know. There's just such a sweetness to it. She's basically the replacement for his mom in this movie. And I just really enjoy their chemistry together. I think she's wonderful and quite beautiful as well, so that never hurts. And one of my favorite lines in this movie, something I say randomly all the time, is when Chucky's got that guy in the BMW that he's making go take him to Andy's, and he's just like pulling into this parking lot, and he's like, "Now park this piece of shit." I don't know why that line's always stuck with me from this film, but that's my line from this one. And he kills him with the bag over the head and the hands. Oh my God, just being suffocated and not being able to like move. Ugh. That new freaking girl with the dragon tattoo, whatever the hell that movie's called, it's coming out. I just saw the trailer too. When they put that person in like the leather, like whatever, it like suctions and it like, anybody see that trailer? That scene where they put him in like one of those airtight bags, basically. It looks like black leather, like one of those S&M fucking outfits. Ugh, crazy. I can't handle that stuff, being suffocated. Because you've ever been like held down by your brothers, like with a pillow or something, and they think they're being funny, and you're like sitting there and it is the most horrible feeling. So I don't know, him having his hands tied behind his back and not being able to, awful. Anyway, we got a lot of Chucky laughing in this. Like, he's laughing as the guy dies. He's laughing as he's burying Tommy. He's laughing. Like, we got a lot of good Chucky laughs in this. And I was, I was wondering how much of the comedic is in this versus, like, horror. Because Chucky slowly starts going more in the comedic route. And I have to say, Chucky's a little darker in this one, which is great. He's just kind of more pissed off and more insane. So not a ton of comedy. I mean, it's almost completely horror, so I didn't really get a ton here. I know in the third one it starts to get more. But in this one, it's more really dark humor. Like, when Chucky is making jokes, they're not slapsticky. They're not like comedic, really. They're dark shit, man. And someone like me can find them funny, but for other people, I don't think they'd find it funny. So yeah, this one hasn't really got a lot of comedy in it. There's some, for sure, but it's mostly really dark. The animatronics in this, I think, rival the first one. I think they're absolutely insane. Like, they're so damn good. That scene where he comes out, probably my favorite looking Chucky scene in this, maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of great ones. But one of my favorites anyways, and I think this is a lot of other people's favorites, is when he comes out of the teacher's closet and he's got the ruler and he's like slapping it on his hand. Oh my God. And they get like a close up on his face. The amount of like expression, like you can see like they have like a little a little thing right here that like puts his face up to make a snarl and everything. Like there's so much detail in Chucky in these animatronics. It's incredible stuff. Um, I was I would say my favorite part for some reason. Well, the scene that makes me laugh the hardest. Here's the comedic part for me. This is my favorite comedic line that makes me laugh out loud every single time I watch this. Is when Andy first finds Chucky, who he thinks is still Tommy, and he puts him on his lap and he's like, "I hate you," and Chucky's like, "Hi, I'm," and he looks off to the right, thinking for half a second, and he's like, "Tommy." I don't know why that like look off to the right and the thinking and then the Tommy line, it kills me every single time. I just think it's hilarious. Oh my God, I wouldn't want him around that doll. Like we just heard, like why are they not taking that doll from him immediately? Like when he found it up in the thing, and then later, like he like grabs it to show them, like, look, I'm getting past it, and they're like, oh, like kind of like hitting each other, like, look, see, you know, he's getting better. It's like, no, get that doll away from him right fucking now. After that story, there's no way I would let him around that doll. Why does Kyle sneak into Andy's room when she's coming home? Like she clearly snuck out her own room window. I mean, I guess we don't know that for sure. Maybe she came in her room. Maybe there's a deleted scene where she's like, all right, Andy, be quiet. I'm going to sneak out. And then she's like, I'll be back. And she sneaks in his room. But I don't know. I just felt like her sneaking in her own room. Maybe his room is the only one that's really that well accessible from like, you know, an awning or something. I'm overthinking it. But I was just sitting there like, why would she be sneaking in his room? It seems very convenient since Andy is being tied down. Next time you're alone, you're mine. And I like that Andy takes no shit from bullies. Like, we needed to see that in here. Like, we needed to see Andy stick up for himself. He shouldn't be a timid boy anymore. He took on Charles Lee Ray, possessed doll, and lived to tell the tale. And this is only a short while after. Like, anybody's picking on him, anyone's flicking the back of his ear or whatever, he should just be like, dude, stop it, and telling the teacher, like, look, no way. I love that Chucky writes, fuck you, bitch, on the teacher's paper. Oh, man. This chick, the teacher, has been in a million things, but come on. Is this not the, I doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion? Like, that's who she is to me for always. And as I said, this chick has been in every damn movie ever. But the Sparkle Motion line is one of those lines that I like to say that randomly to people when they're being dramatic. And I like that. And yeah, and to kind of add to that, I like that Andy goes after Chucky in the basement with a knife. Like, he goes and he's like, I'm not taking this shit. And he goes like, no one's gonna believe me. I'm gonna take one of those carving knives and I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna solve this shit myself. Badass kid. He doesn't play the victim the whole movie, which is great. He goes right after Chucky. Like how Kyle throws Chucky into a metal trash can at the very bottom of it. It's completely empty. And then she gets on the swing. She finds Tommy buried. And then she turns around. And somehow Chucky got out of that trash can, put the lid back on without making a single sound. I would love to see how he pulled that one off. Yes, me overthinking things, as always. I don't know why the hell I wrote that down. Damn it. I have another one of those. I always do that. I like that when Andy gets back to the orphanage or whatever, he immediately is like, I'm not staying here. I know Chucky's coming for me. I'm out of here. And he starts getting his clothes on, packing his shit. Unfortunately, Chucky gets there quicker than he can get out of there, but smart move on Andy's decision there. This poor family, especially the mom, I don't know, like, her death is rough for me when she turns around. I'm like, that was the sweetest woman. Fucking Chucky. Because really, he didn't need to kill this family. Like, he could have ran off, but he wants to get Kyle to drive him over there. But killing the mom, I don't know. Like, he could have just went over and grabbed her on the swing and been like, hey, we're leaving. But I guess he was just tying up loose ends like anyone who would come after. But she didn't believe in Chucky at all, so I don't know. It just seemed like upping the body count, much like that dude at the end, the maintenance dude who gets the eyes plugged. Like, it's so unnecessary. It is completely there to up the body count. Although the eyes, like the Chucky eyes in his eyes, I think it's pretty cool. Although I do think with just kind of like the way that system works, it would have put 2 in his dick as well, because that's like his length of his body is only like half the length of a Chucky. So, and as close tonight as they were together, I feel like that thing would have clamped. And so they could have went for the double. They could have put the 2 balls in his eyes, or the 2 balls. Yeah, the 2 eyes in his balls. There you go. All right, I'm going overboard now. And so Kyle hits the brakes, and somehow Chucky, which is just this tiny little plastic doll, flies through the windshield. No. You know how hard it is to break a windshield? Do you have any idea how strong that damn thing is? You do not go through the windshield if you weigh 30 pounds. At best. He probably weighs 15. Not even. He's still at all. He's becoming human, so maybe I'll give him 20 pounds at best. There's no damn way. But I love how she hits like one of those, whatever the hell those things are, those poles that stop you from crashing into things. I like how she hits one of those and she doesn't even flinch. It just hits and she stops, and then she backs up, and then she comes and she hits a fence, and the fence like totals her car. Although later she jumps in that same car and starts it after like 3 starts and is just like, whatever. Like, she didn't try to start the car. Like, she knew Chucky was going to be right there. Like, why didn't she try to start? She didn't try to start the car once. Like, she's like, oh, I hit a fence. My car's totaled. There's no way it'll work. And then, like, when she comes back out, she, like, tries to start the car. And when it starts, she's like, oh, my God. Like, she has this look on her face. Like, I can't believe it started. And it's like, it just hit a fence. There's, like, no damage to the front of the car. I don't understand why you think the car isn't going to work. Yeah, anytime anyone sees Chucky's really, really real in this movie, besides Kyle, they die almost instantly. So, like, no one can be like, I believe you. We don't even get that. It's just kind of like, oh shit, he's alive. Oh shit, I'm dead. I like that Kyle goes off and she runs that freaking dude right off. Now, I didn't check this, but that guy that's driving that truck there, that's the dude from Commando, right? That Matrix breaks the neck of on the plane and like puts him in the corner, and he's like, don't bother my friend, he's dead tired or whatever. That's him. Yeah, I gotta Google that to make sure, but I meant to do that last night. I'm pretty damn sure that's him. She does a little Indiana Jones roll under there. She should have like reached back and grabbed her pack of cigarettes or something. I love that this ends in a good guy dolls factory. It's convoluted and convenient as fuck, but whatever. It's cool to see. And I like that he actually completes the ritual here. And it's too damn late. And then he's just pissed off and wants vengeance for Andy taking too long. And he's just stuck in this body. So I like that he actually does get to complete it. And I like that he's still like, you know what? I still want you. Like, now I want you dead. Like, I can't have your body. You can't have it. Like, no one can have it. You're done for. And then he makes himself a knife hand, which is just to add to the insanity and the upping of the gore, because he rips his hand off and he's bleeding and he pulls it up and he's like, I hate kids. So as I said, there's comedic lines, but they're just not the comedic lines of like Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky at all. They're just at the beginning stages of that. I'm not sure why that machine has a reverse option to put them back in and then put like 10 arms and legs all over their body. Like, shouldn't it be putting it in the specific notches each time? Like, why would it be here and here and here? Like, the machine doesn't go here or here, like lower or higher, or I don't know. And I don't know what that thing's doing. Like, it has like a bunch of plastic that's like melted plastic all over it. I'm not sure why like popping arms and legs into the sockets would require plastic. Those things need to move around and they just be popped in. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. So it going up in there, and even having that reverse option is really, really questionable to me. It still makes for a cool looking scene for sure, but I just don't understand why. I also like that Chucky's able to string up a guy and swing him and knock Andy over, a full grown man who he drug over there, and he ties him up, brings him, and swings him into Andy as he's a half of a body on one of those little go-kart things that that the dolls sit on. Like, he pulled him up and then swung him at Andy as a half doll. Like, a doll couldn't even do that, but he's a half of a doll. Okay, yeah, I'm overthinking things. I like how the plastic, like, valve, the release valve for the plastic is so simple to open that a little 7-year-old could just, like, and it just sprays out, and then they stick the thing in his head, and it's like, glues shut because that plastic's still hot. His head explodes. It's so over the top, but man, he comes back from the dead like 4 times in this film. They go for that like last scare so many times. Anyway, guys, I had a blast rewatching this. I'm definitely looking forward to watching like Seed and Bride again because I haven't seen them in forever, and so many people hate Seed. I hope I love it so that a bunch of people can be like, you fucking suck and you have terrible taste. I guess I do. All right.